This is John Earls, expert in resilience and burnout. And here talking about resilience and techniques or tools that we can use to develop resilience for ourselves or in our organisations. There's many that you could look at, but the 4 S's model is a really good way to develop psychological resilience. It gives a clear and practical framework for which we can work with. So let's have a look at the 4 S's now. So the 4 S's model is able to be applied to many situations, but in the resilience framework, I think it works really well because resilience looks at 4 C's: control, commitment, confidence and challenge. And I think the 4 S's really picks up on all 4 of those. So you could use this and apply this in your work setting. You know, if you're a manager looking at a team, you know, you're focusing on particular issues or stresses that your team has. You could have this as a model that you all work towards. Or for planning, you can use this as well. But in your personal life, this is a great model to use in your personal life to assess different situations and what might be triggered for stresses and then how you might deal with them. So it's a very practical model. Okay, let's have a look at the first one. So what's the situation? You know, are there particular people, events, situations that trigger a stress response, challenge your resilience? So it's worth making a note of those, because if you know that there is a trigger, you can plan for it or choose to avoid it. And then how does it affect you over to the self on the right-hand side? Work stresses may affect you differently to personal stresses. A person may be affecting you differently to a situation at work, like where you're doing your presentation, a practical situation. So identifying what the situation is really important. And then also knowing how it affects you. Some situations may be more stressful, maybe more emotional, maybe more tiring. And once we know the effects, you can again make contingencies and plan for that. And then looking at your support. Well, if you know that there's a situation coming up that's going to make you feel a certain way, do you have systems around you to support you and help you? You know, it could be friends, family, work colleagues, but it could also be having the right system. You know, not using Microsoft Teams if you've been on it all day, maybe changing the focus and doing something else. And then what is our strategy as a final S? So there's things that we can do to plan for these events, you know, whether it be in a workplace or at home. And once you plan a strategy around, you know, different triggers and how they affect you and what support you have or you don't, then you're more likely to be resilient in more situations than not. So I hope you've enjoyed that little explanation of the 4 S's. Dealing with psychological resilience, and this is what we're talking about here, psychological resilience, is a highly practical thing. I would highly suggest coaching to develop the qualities you need to develop resilience. And using practical tools like the 4 S's just gives you that practical application and knowledge to approach any situation with the resilient framework. Thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed it.